More evidence is coming out about Bria Hartley and the Sophie Cunningham attack. So, guys, it looked like more evidence is definitely coming out of the pipeline in regards to Sophie Cunningham and Bria Hartley. Now, we know there was a situation that took place in the second quarter of the game, possibly at the 8-minute, 9-second mark. That is a Bria Hartley, diving into the knees of Sophie Cunningham. Now, we know that play has since went viral. And I'm here to tell you more news is coming out in regards to Bria Hartley.
In the modern world, a story isn't real until it's captured. A single frame, a stray comment, a fleeting expression, these are the building blocks of legends and the kindling for digital wildfires. One of these wildfires just ripped through the WNBA, and it all started not with a play, but with a picture. It was a photo of Bria Hartley laughing. But it was who was in the background, an injured and defeated Sophie Cunningham, that turned a simple human expression into a piece of evidence. Was this a harmless moment of joy, or was it a cold-blooded act of mockery aimed at a fallen rival? More evidence is now surfacing, and the story is getting juicier and far more complicated than anyone ever imagined.
Well, unfortunately, as of this second, we don't have an official update on Sophie Cunningham's injury. But what we do have is we've got one quote-unquote injury expert out there that did weigh in based on the camera angles of Sophie Cunningham's injury. We've also got a very interesting picture that has emerged with Bria Hartley smiling and laughing over this incident of Sophie Cunningham being hurt.
The internet is a strange, magical place. One moment, millions of people are united in arguing about whether a dress is blue or gold. The next, the entire sports world becomes obsessed with one blurry snapshot of a basketball player laughing. That player was Bria Hartley, and her laugh wasn't trending because she dropped 30 points or hit a game-winning buzzer beater. Nope, she was trending for a simple grin, perfectly timed to coincide with one of the league's most dramatic moments. That's all it took for social media to detonate like someone had thrown gasoline on a campfire.
We have to talk about it. We have to talk about this because obviously she went down. Sorry, and we got to look at the clips right here. So we're going to talk a little bit about whether or not I believe that it was just completely accidental, or whether or not there was some intent in this. So we're watching this right here. Bria Hartley comes up for the layup. She throws the pass and she immediately falls down on Sophie Cunningham's leg. So let's slow this down right here and let's basically watch this frame by frame. Let's watch this frame by frame. So Bria Hartley is throwing a pass right here. Kelsey Mitchell helps in. Sophie Cunningham, in fairness, is not fully helped over. Sophie Cunningham should be a step or two out in this scenario.
To understand why this one laugh set the world ablaze, you have to rewind to the moment that lit the fuse. We're in the second quarter of a tense matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun. Bria Hartley makes a move to the basket, the defense collapses, and she kicks the ball out. In the ensuing chaos of bodies in motion, she tumbles awkwardly, unnaturally, directly into the planted leg of Sophie Cunningham. The replay is brutal. Sophie goes down hard, her leg bending in a way it was never meant to. The debate over the play itself was immediate. Was it an accident? Was it reckless? Or was it something more? But that debate was nothing compared to the firestorm that a single photograph would ignite just moments later.
It's very, very sad and unfortunate what has happened to Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham, let's be clear here. Sophie Cunningham was targeted. Let's be very, very clear here. I can't play you the video because I did one and they flagged it and copyrighted all types of stuff. So I cannot show you the video, but Sophie Cunningham was flat out targeted by a dirty, dirty player. And if y'all go to my video last night, you will see me saying, watch out for Bria Hartley because she's a dirty ass.
And here's the part no one saw coming. As Sophie is being attended to, grimacing in pain before limping off the court, a picture emerges from the sideline. It's Bria Hartley, and she's grinning, laughing even, and that's it. That's all the internet needed to spiral into absolute chaos. Fans didn't just see a laugh, they saw a declaration, a manifesto, a moment of pure distilled shade. They were convinced it wasn't just a laugh, it was an entire monologue delivered without a single word. She was laughing at Sophie's injury. They insisted she was mocking her pain. The interpretations flew in from every corner of the internet, and in a matter of minutes, Bria Hartley was tried and convicted in the court of public opinion.
It's interesting, this injury expert speculates, doesn't think it's an ACL, maybe an MCL, or the thing that I considered when I saw it. I thought her knee dislocated, is what I thought I saw, okay? Hell, I'm no doctor. I can tell you that right now, and we'll look at that in a second. But I got to tell you, this picture, and let me just show you right here. This is some video, of course, of her. Let me just turn this down. Limping off the court yesterday. The good thing is she did walk off the court, folks. You gotta say.
But to truly grasp why this reaction was so explosive, you have to understand the two characters at the very center of this storm. First, you have Sophie Cunningham. Let's be brutally honest, this photo would not have gone viral if it were literally anyone else in the background. Sophie has a gravitational pull for drama. She's the league's ultimate agitator, a master of psychological warfare on hardwood who thrives on chaos. She has built an entire career on getting under her opponent's skin, and she wears that badge proudly. Fans either love her for her fiery, relentless energy, or can't stand her because she always seems to be at the center of conflict. She's a magnet for these situations.
Goes and rises. Sophie Cunningham should be a little bit more over. She throws the pass. She is off balance by the looks of things here. She kind of falls and then takes Sophie Cunningham down with her. It's hard to tell. And like, look, this is one of those things where it's like, if this wasn't Bria Hartley, I don't think anyone would be questioning if this whether or not this was intentional. And then I've seen this one right here, Bria Hartley after it, where she's smiling, and I'm like, I don't know.
Then you have Bria Hartley, whose reputation is a complicated tapestry of grit and controversy. Many fans will point to a long history of questionable plays, pulling ponytails, reckless body checks, and label her a dirty player. Plain and simple. They'll argue that with a player that reckless, they don't care if you get hurt. But others see her differently. They see a quiet, unbothered veteran who has carved out a long career through sheer toughness and determination. So when you put Sophie, the professional agitator, in the same frame as Bria, the controversial veteran, you get a photo that looks like destiny itself staged it for maximum drama.
So I'm seeing a lot of this right here. Everybody's saying, oh, Sophie just landed wrong. How is that Bria's fault? So what, since I've been watching WNBA this year, I've noticed that Bria Hartley is the dirtiest player in the W. Now, if you don't think she's a dirty player, you know, I ain't got no choice but to respect your opinion. See, this is what we gotta understand. With a player like that, that's reckless with their movement, they don't care if you get hurt. See, she's not purposely trying to hurt you. She's just being extremely reckless and doesn't mind if you get hurt. There's a lot of that goes on in the WNBA. They do a lot of malicious shit, and they don't really care what the outcome is.
If you've already picked a side in this debate, hit that like button and tell me in the comments, was it shade or just a coincidence?
I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you. Proud of you. I'm so proud of you guys. I know that sometimes it sounds like just a word when we talk about being resilient, but it's not, man. It's how we live. Yeah. It's how y'all live, and it's a tribute to you. It's a tribute to your connectedness, your togetherness, your toughness, your mindset. You never give up gritty attitudes. Like, that's what it takes. That's what it takes, and we will never be counted out, because that is worth gold.
Now here's where things get truly hilarious. People started over-analyzing the body language, zooming into the individual pixels like it was the Zapruder film. Was the angle of Bria's eyes directed at Sophie? Was the tilt of her head coincidental? Or was it lined up with laser precision to point directly at her injured rival? They analyzed the crinkle around her eyes, calculated the trajectory of her gaze, This wasn't just a laugh anymore, it was treated like evidence in a federal trial. The internet turned into a legion of amateur detectives ready to testify that Bria Hartley had committed first-degree shade.
Man, let me find out these wrestlers ain't doing their job and shit, man. I'm trying, you know, I gotta do some research. I gotta see what the video, what the clip was, where I was just scrolling like social media and I just seen the news, wherever. And I think her sister posted something about, you know, the refs wasn't doing something right or calling the game, officiating the game a certain way that probably, you know, was, I don't want to say responsible, but caused, whatever. I just gotta figure this shit out, man. Because it's Sophie Cunningham, right? Right? I haven't watched that many games, watched some highlight stuff over the, you know, past season and whatnot. So I know I'll tune in once the playoffs hit because that's just how I am with just WNBA, NBA, basketball in general.
The creativity was staggering. The laugh was no longer just Bria's, it became a communal possession, an open source meme. People captioned it with everything from, when your ex's new partner looks like a clearance mannequin, to when you realize Sophie Cunningham just committed her 4th unnecessary foul in 5 minutes. One fan insisted Bria's laugh had distinct levels. The warm-up chuckle, the mid-tier snicker, and the final devastating punchline grin that screamed, "I can't even take this person seriously."
Sophie Cunningham was targeted, y'all. I'm telling you right now, Sophie Cunningham was targeted by Bria Hartley, and it just is what it is. It is what it is. I don't want to sit here and play games and act like, you know, she wasn't. She was targeted by Bria Hartley, and that's just the fact of the matter. And people can act like it's not all they want. I told you guys this girl was a dirty player, and that's all she did today was show how dirty she is. This is unfortunate. I don't know how the Indiana Fever can continue to survive these things.
Of course, all of this drama was grounded in a very real and very serious injury. An expert who weighed in on the play speculated it wasn't an ACL tear, but more likely an MCL tear, or even a knee dislocation. An MCL tear isn't just a sprain, it's a structural failure of a key ligament. A dislocation is a brutal, traumatic event for a joint. While it was a good sign that Sophie walked off the court on her own power, either of those injuries could easily be season-ending and have lasting career implications. This is what raised the stakes from a funny meme to a serious referendum on player conduct. The laugh may have been hilarious to some, but to others, it was a sickening sign of a deeper, more malicious problem in the league.
I got a serious question. Bria Hartley, why are you always at the scene of the crime? Like, why? Y'all, I don't think I ever remember her doing this much like this in one season. Damn near every fight, scuffle, some type of crazy foul, something. She been at the scene of the crime like the whole season. I don't know. Is she trying to like make a name for herself? With all the tension in the league, like be known as an enforcer, because the enforcing she's doing ain't leading to win.
And then, as they always do, came the conspiracy theories. You know you've really gone viral when fans start building entire alternate realities to explain a single image. Some insisted the photo was staged, that Bria intentionally positioned herself next to Sophie just to unleash the laugh heard round the league. A particularly wild take suggested that Bria had been holding on to years of suppressed laughter every time Sophie pulled her antics, and this one photo captured the exact moment the dam finally broke.
We've also got a very interesting picture that has emerged with Bria Hartley smiling and laughing over this incident of Sophie Cunningham being hurt. Now, it's interesting, this injury expert speculates, doesn't think it's an ACL, maybe an MCL, or the thing that I considered when I saw it. I thought her knee dislocated, is what I thought I saw, okay? Hell, I'm no doctor. I can tell you that.
But beyond the comedy, there's a reason this photo stuck. Sports thrive on rivalries, real or imagined. And this moment, intentionally or not, created one. The WNBA has been fighting for visibility for years. And while it might seem silly, viral moments like this get people who normally wouldn't watch a game suddenly invested. They start Googling players, diving into highlight reels, and before long, they're hooked. Bria's laugh completely overshadowed every actual basketball play in that game, but it also got thousands of people talking about the WNBA.
Start with just what I think looking at the injury mechanism in terms of potential severity, and then touch on whether or not I think this really should be a concern about the intentionality of this play. So first thing first, of course, we're dealing with a right knee injury for Cunningham, and this is going to be contact. Of course, the player for Connecticut is going to fall into the outside of her right knee, and what that's most likely going to do, we can't exactly see her foot position down here, but I think what this is causing is a forced valgus load from the outside of Cunningham's knee, pushing it.
So was Bria's laugh intentional shade, or was it just a human being laughing at a perfectly timed or perfectly ill-timed moment? The truth, ironically, may not even matter, because the internet has already decided. The verdict is in Bria Hartley laughed. Sophie Cunningham got caught in the crossfire, and the rest of us are here for the fireworks. Bria didn't set out to become the face of subtle mockery, but her laugh now lives rent-free in people's heads, immortalized as a legendary meme. The most ironic part? Bria might not even have been laughing at Sophie. She could have been reacting to a teammate, a coach, or some random fan yelling something ridiculous from the stands. But the internet doesn't care about context. It cares about narratives. And the narrative here was just too good to pass up. Now every time these two share the court, the stakes feel higher. It's no longer just basketball. It's theater, and the audience is fully locked in, waiting for the next act.